Today, I want to talk to you about the many podcasters, bloggers, and YouTube creators who are falsely planting fear in public by suggesting that people are unwittingly giving themselves over to technologies that are leading them to receiving the mark of the beast, or that they have already accepted the mark through their involvement with modern digital technology, or even though religious affiliations. For example, the Seventh-day Adventists believe that the mark of the beast refers to a time when worshiping on Sunday will be mandated by civil law, and that if you worship on Sunday and do not adhere to keeping the Sabbath for worship, then you will have already accepted the mark of the beast. Let me dispel once and for all everyone's concerns by showing you what the Bible actually says. I want to begin by briefly reviewing what we find in the Scriptures on this topic. There are several specific passages, when examined together, that paint the complete picture for our understanding, removing doubt and bringing clarity. So let's take a look. First of all, the mark of the beast is described in the Bible most notably in Revelation chapter 13, verses 16 and 17. This passage is the primary source for the description of the mark. It states that people of the world are forced or agree to receive this mark on their right hand or forehead so they can buy or sell. Without this mark, all people will be excluded from any economic activity. Also, in Revelation chapter 13, verse 18, we find where the mark of the beast is connected to the number of the beast, which the text says is the number 666, 666 in Revelation chapter 14, verse 9, and chapter 19, verse 20. It goes on to describe the punishment for those who receive the mark and worship the Antichrist, saying that they forfeit any possibility to receive redemption through Jesus and receive permanent assignment to hell along with the Antichrist and the devil. This all sounds pretty scary, and people want to know when all these events will take place. And unlike the endless debate regarding the timing of the rapture, whether it will be pre-trib or post-trib or pre-wrath, for example, there is no disagreement among Bible students or scholars as to the timing of the introduction of the mark of the beast. The mark is enforced at the midpoint of the tribulation period, at the 3.5-year point into the Antichrist's rule. This event occurs when the Antichrist breaks his 7-year covenant with Israel at the midpoint and sets up an idol of himself in the temple of God to be worshipped by all. This event is referred to as the abomination of desolation, found both in Daniel chapter 9, verse 27, and also in Matthew chapter 24, verse 15. They are concurrent and congruent. At the same time that all this is occurring, the Antichrist himself takes the final step in revealing to the Word his true evil nature. Let me explain. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 4 speaks of the Antichrist who will exalt himself above all else, sitting in God's temple and showing himself that he is God. And if that wasn't bad enough, the book of Revelation chapter 13, verse 5 tells us, "And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. That is to say, these 42 months, or 3.5 years, are the second half of the Great Tribulation. So here is the takeaway for today. As scary as all this sounds, no one needs to be worried today in the modern world about inadvertently taking or receiving the mark of the beast. As I just mentioned, Revelation chapter 13, verses 5 and 6 describes the Antichrist being given authority for 42 months, which is the second half of the tribulation period, to wage war against God's holy people and to conquer them. This is the context and the timing of the implementation of the mark of the beast. There is no disagreement or debate as to the timing of these events. So let me say it plainly. Despite the media hype and fear-mongering among YouTubers, the mark of the beast that people will take on their forehead or right hand does not occur until the middle of the tribulation period. That is to say, 3.5 years into the 7-year tribulation period. And let me emphasize, the people that are alive at this point in human history will not be asleep at the wheel when this damning mark of allegiance to the Antichrist is introduced. Their eyes will be wide open. And how do we know this? Listen carefully to this, because this what no blogger or podcaster or YouTube creator ever takes time to mention. By the time that the mark of the beast system is implemented upon humanity, At the 3.5 year point in time, all of humanity, yes, I'm talking about the entire world, will have been reduced by 50%. One half of the world's population will be dead. And I can guarantee you that if half the world dies in the first 3.5 years of the tribulation, the people of the world will not be living lives as business as usual. And how do I know all this? Because Revelation chapter 6, verse 7 and 8 describes the fourth seal judgment, the pale horse, during which 1/4 of the earth's population is killed by sword, famine, plague, and wild beasts. And Revelation chapter 9, verses 15 and 18 describe the sixth trumpet judgment, where 1/3 of the remaining remnant of mankind is killed by fire, smoke, and sulfur. The combined effect of these two judgments prior to the midpoint of the Great Tribulation results in 50% of the original population of the world being destroyed by the time the sixth trumpet ends. And again, in context, all of this occurs by the midpoint of the tribulation period, before the final, most severe bowl judgments are poured out. In conclusion, I hope this brings peace to anyone who have lost their peace due to overzealous, misinformed media sources promoting fear and misinformation regarding your life and the mark of the beast.